Hi guys, and welcome to Super Metallurgy. Morning from London. Welcome to Super Metallurgy. Today I'm going to be talking about the cameras that we actually use to film some of the cars. Now we've got quite a collection, and I'm going to guide you through, show you some of the different items that we're using, show you how we film some of the items, and we're learning all the time. So obviously this is a new YouTube channel. Things change and evolve, and we end up buying things that we don't need. So really I want to show that not everybody has to go out and spend thousands of pounds or dollars on every single product, when actually they can do it with just a few, and we've really honed it down to a few now that work exceptionally well. So I hope you like this video, and please click the subscribe button, and if you like it, click the like button. We're now on Facebook as well, so I'll get those over to you in the link descriptions below, and Instagram is about to go live. We're going to be doing a new website shortly, and really this is just to show you a little bit about the equipment and where you get it from and what the capabilities are. I'm not, by any stretch of the imagination, a professional videographer, but I'm learning the hard way. On the video editing I'm learning on a daily basis, and I have to say, videos are taking me hours. To get them looking half decent, they really are taking anything between 3 and 5 hours, and we're hitting glitches, and I'll explain that all anyway. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and let's crack on. So the main items that we actually utilise when we're out filming really is this new piece of equipment from DJI. It's a motorised gimbal, but it's actually got the SIM card into the gimbal, so you don't have to plug your mobile phone onto it. So it comes in this rather nice little case. Just unpop it like so, and then if we turn it on with this button here, you can see it's got a screen on the back of it. So this hasn't actually got a card in it at the moment, but you can see it's fully stabilised. Really clever piece of kit. Now you can plug a mobile phone onto it, so your phone just basically goes on just like this. You just plug it on the side, and then the phone lights up, and then you can open the application, which I'll do, and then you can see it's saying no SD card, but you can then see what is on my mobile telephone, and it's a really great product. I mean, I found that I can vlog with this by turning the camera around like so. I can then see myself on the camera, and it will face track me absolutely perfectly. Audio is pretty good, but there's only a tiny little microphone hole at the front of it, so you really need the extra attachments to make it a little bit better. So this is a separated part. This plugs on the underside of the DJI like so. It enables you to charge through the back on a USB-C cable, but it also makes it totally wireless. So this will then pick up on my mobile telephone. I don't need to have the phone connected, and it's Bluetooth, so I can actually stream the footage that I get off this straight to my mobile phone. Very, very good. When you're walking along, you do get a bit of shake on it, but it's pretty good. I've seen much worse. So that's the DJI Osmo Pocket. There is a link for this, and there are some discount codes which can be utilised on this particular video. The next one is the li-oin Smooth 4. Now this is one that I only bought a little while ago. You can see much larger. Now your mobile phone actually clips into this holder up here, and it's expandable, so you can put every different type of mobile phone in it. Quite clever. You've got autofocus built into it. You can also use this wheel to scroll up and down and to make panning shots and to move around slightly, but it's very smooth, works really well. And some of the actual software that goes with it, the app, is phenomenally good. We found that you can change colour settings. It does a form of colour grading, but in set templates. Very useful, because it's also got the standard tripod mount underneath it, so you can actually put a tripod onto this and mount it, and then you can do face track with it as well, which obviously we're not using at the moment. We're using the Sony XDR3000X, and for me, the Sony, I think, is the best of all the cameras I've had. I went the GoPro route at the beginning, and I found them difficult to work with. They weren't very good in low lights, and the audio quality was not great, and I couldn't get an external microphone to the actual units that I had, so it had massive drawbacks. So this has got really long operating life. So you charge it up, the gimbal is fully motorized. I don't think it's got any charge in it. Let's see. Yes, it has. Actually, if I unlock it, it can, well, it won't do its thing because I kept it locked. So you basically put it into its lock position, which is a really nice feature. Then when you unlock it, you can see it's actually doing its thing at the moment. So it wants to set itself up, but I'm not going to set it up. It takes too long. And you switch it off just by pressing and holding the button. Got its own power pack built into it. It's got quite a nice trigger mechanism on the rear of the unit, so you can make it do different things like spin around to face you if you're going to be vlogging, or turn the other direction so that you can film somebody else. So so that is the Smooth 4. Great unit. There's some awesome videos out on the internet on it. Okay, so then this is the DJI Osmo Mobile. This is turning into a bit of an advert for DJI, but I do like their products, and I have been using the products for quite a long time. So again, this was really one of the first mainstream mobile units, and again, it just opens up in this chuck. You can put your mobile phone in. It's quite awkward to get your phone in and out sometimes. It's rubberized on the inside to hold onto the phone, but if you have a case on the phone, I find it very, very difficult to slide it out and slide it in. This doesn't actually connect up in any way to your mobile phone, so it connects via Wi-Fi, so it has its own Wi-Fi signal that it pops out. You look for that on your mobile phone and connect up, and then the app starts up, and you use the DJI app to actually make this operate. Quite simplistic, little joystick here which moves 360 degrees. You'll record and you'll shoot button, and then here you have different settings and also your power button. On the side of it you can have a zoom function and different items you can scroll through once you use the menu. But very simplistic. I believe, I might be wrong on this, I think it operates for a straight 14 hours once it's charged up. So it's got its own lithium battery built into it. I think you can change this out for different batteries when it gets low, but I haven't actually done that. But quite a nice unit, just charges on this back port, which you flip up on the rear of it. But it also does double up as a battery charger, so you can plug in a USB cable and then you can plug that into your mobile phone if you're going flat, which is a really, really nice feature. It's a bit plasticky. I had the original Osmo, which was all metal and beautifully put together, but this doesn't quite feel as solid. Okay, so next up, we're going to put the gimbals to one side, put this one away so I don't drop it off the table, which is probably going to happen in a matter of minutes. If I leave it out on the table, it will slide off and hit the wood floor. Once I've switched it off, that is. Okay. But great case on this DJI, and I've got to say, for a new product, they've really thought it out because it's just so small. I mean, you can see the comparison of this to this, and these do the same thing, except this has got a screen on it with built-in memory. This doesn't. This is nothing more than a holder and a gimbal which will keep itself steady, but very, very smooth, really good machine. So I can strongly vouch for it. That's about £150 as well. This is £329, obviously brand new in the market. They're not doing huge discounts, but an awesome piece of kit anyway. And by the way, the DJI, the Osmo Mobile 2, this one costs £129. There is discounts with other places, and I've seen them going cheaper than this, but a good piece of kit for a learner. Right, we're going to move on to some of the smaller action cams now. Okay, so my first action cam I bought was called the 8-man 4K. It's not really 4K. It's using clever software to get it up to a certain amount. It looks okay in good lights. Low lights, pretty grainy. Hasn't got many functions, but it's £50. These are $49.99. They come with, you can see, with all these different accessories. Here's one without the cage on it. It's got a big screen at the rear of it, and I don't know if I've got a battery in this one. Let's have a look. I have. So it turns on, nice screen at the back. and very, very simplistic and easy to use. You can obviously mount this onto anything you require, so you can turn the mount upside down and plug it on, or turn it around the other way. It also will go into other holders, so you can strap it onto helmets, and you can put it onto harnesses which you can put on your front. I don't generally do any of that stuff, so I tend just to pop it into a little holder like this, and then I use the mount on the bottom to put it onto one of my my Joby mounts for the side of a car. And I found this can be quite good if you're gonna drive a vehicle. So when I drove my 911 in the video, and I also drove Anthony's 997 911, we had these mounted on the bonnet, we had them mounted on the side wing so that you could see the wheels turning, we had them on the roof of the Audi that I was driving behind him, and then we had it facing the rear of his car as well. I found the audio quality is okay, but it's not perfect. But quite frankly, for £50, you can put a blog out with this, and it would actually operate. So I think money well spent, really. And for picking up lots of different angles and lots of different views, awesome. £50, can't go wrong. Little memory card goes inside it. Battery life wasn't great, but then what I did was I bought myself a charger, which actually isn't here, similar to this charger, so it's a dual charger. So you just put a USB micro in here, and then that plugs into your fast charger or whatever charger you're utilising. 2 batteries. This was actually $11.99 with 2 batteries included, and then I can knock off 2 batteries and the original battery in it, and I've got this for 2 of these cameras, so I've always got basically 6 batteries on the go, and then 4 charging capabilities. This will also plug into the center console of my cars so that I can charge them up. It's a bit slower, but it still works, and if you get a high power cigarette lighter charger for, say, an iPhone X, this will actually charge fairly rapidly. That's that one. Then we've got the Thi. Now this is full 4K. It is one of the latest cameras that came out. I've had this for about 4 months. I've actually had a few issues with it. I was filming on this in Manila, and I was doing my RWB NOAA video. The lighting wasn't great in there. It was on auto balance, the auto white balance, and I found it was very grainy. The audio wasn't particularly good. It's got stabilization, but the shake wasn't great. It doesn't compare to the camera I'm now filming on, which is the Sony Action Cam, which is now 4 years old. This is new technology with the latest chipset. It has quite a good battery life. On 4K, it's running for about an hour. I'm getting about an hour and 10 minutes out of it, if I'm careful, if it's not using lots of power. It's got a big screen on the rear of it, so if I switch her on, if it will go on, you can see lights up at the back. Quite nice because it's got touch menus on the rear of the screen, so you can scroll through. There's no memory card in this one at the moment, but a decent product, beautifully made with this soft touch feel, sort of casing on it. Again, I've got 3 batteries for this, and it looks like same charger as this, similar type of battery. And they're 1650 mAh, so they're lasting about an hour and a half. If it's working in really conditions, it's really having to think, and it's really having to keep the screen on bright at the back, and it's having to work for itself in low lights. I found it's not doing as well. But it's pretty good. I can do slow footage on this. I can speed things up on Final Cut Pro and the editing software, and it's pretty decent. But I can't remember how much this one was. It's not cheap. I think it's about £150. Think. Maybe they've come down a bit now. But again, it's another one that I wouldn't have purchased without the mounting point underneath, so I can put it onto a Joby. Audio on this sounds a bit tinny. You can actually go back over it and make it sound a bit better. But for picking up audio, say for an exhaust pipe on a car, it was pretty good. So this is another one that I'm using for really getting a bit of car footage, and I will stitch in and out of it. So let's turn this one off. If it goes off. There we go. That one's done. Next one I had huge hopes for. Now this is the SJ Cam S8 Pro. This is the one that everybody on YouTube has been saying is as good as a GoPro. It's giving the Sony a run for its money. You know, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I can't get it to work for me particularly well. I've used it a few times. It's quite a nice little camera. I mean, you can see, again, it's got this sort of soft touch feel to it. It's all metal. It feels pretty nice. It's got a nice screen on the front of it, which is actually a really, really useful feature. So if we fire this one up, actually, wrong button, buttons on the side. So you can see on the front of it, it shows you here how much recording time you've utilised or you have remaining. It shows what kind of footage it's in. So at the moment you can see it's in 1080p. You can also see the runtime, you can see the size of the card, and you can see the battery level. So when you've actually got this mounted in front of you and you put this onto a mount, you can see what's going on and you can see if it's recording. I really love that feature. It's great, and I don't know why everybody else doesn't do it, but it's nice that it's lit up as well, because you can glance at it and you don't need to keep checking things. I mean, with the Sony I'm using, I have that separate handheld, so you'll see me holding on to this for dear life when I'm making my videos. And this is a wireless remote for the camera that I'm utilising at the moment. You can see me in the picture. I can frame up a shot. I can make sure it looks decent. I can see my timings on it. I can see it's in 4K. I can see the battery level, and I can see many other items. It's very, very useful. This does clip onto a wristband, but quite frankly, it looks terrible on a wristband, so I don't bother. But I like the Sony, so that's my opinion, though. This does record in full K footage, full 4K footage even. The audio is okay. It's got a little microphone at the front of it, just two little tiny audio sections here. It isn't waterproof, needs to go in a case, but does come supplied with a case in a rather nice sort of soft touch box. Screen at the back is really large, very nice, easy to navigate through the menus, and it's been beautifully set up, and it actually does scroll as you ask it to when you touch it. So it's not like some of them which are very laggy and a bit difficult to utilise. Lens is very wide. I can also frame it so I get rid of the exterior distortion around the edges, a bit like I do on the Sony. It records more like a traditional SLR camera, which I like a lot. Again, in low lights, I find it very difficult to work with. But saying that, it is extremely nice, but so is the price tag. So this is I think £179.99 in the UK, so £180, which is not cheap. It isn't a budget action cam, and really this is meant to be one of the better 4K cameras that are out there, and it does compete highly against the GoPro Hero range. Some people like it, some don't. Again, it's got the mounting underneath, so I can plug it onto a mount. This will work with this little area at the side, which most of them don't. I can plug in a USB-C cable, and then I can put that to an external microphone, and I can record quite comfortably with this with a little lapel mic, which is really nice to have, and it's a great feature. I don't know why they're not all doing that, because the mics in these can only be so big and they can only record so much, but it's awesome. So that's another one out of the way. Okay, so I've got chargers coming out of my ears. I'm using a light, which it's called Photo R. It was an eBay special. It was $29.99, and then I bought some big power packs, and I got this charger with it. So I have two power packs, but it's very useful. Can change colour, and I can do a whole host of things. So I'll show you that in a second. This is my charger for the Sony cam I'm using, and again I bought some extra batteries. The Sony cam actually came with a battery that was just over 1,000, I believe, sorry, 1,200 mAh. These are 1,650 mAh. I think the Sony battery is actually better quality. They're lithium ion, and in reality, even though I've got a bigger battery, which I bought from China, I think it was off AliExpress or eBay. These are fine, but they do go down fairly quickly. So this is it's great for topping up, but it's probably not the best battery I have. My trusty power bank, 2 sockets in the end of it, shows me how much power I've got, and I carry this everywhere with me. So this is a 6,000 mAh charger. Bought it in Singapore at Changi Airport. Just charge it up on the back here, and then 2 outputs on the front. This will charge up most of my equipment because it really kicks out the power, and it will actually charge an iPhone about 1.5 times, or an iPad, and fairly quickly. So actually it's perfect for some of my cameras when things suddenly start going a bit flat and I don't know what I'm going to do about it. Okay, then I've got the Zoom H2N handy recorder, as they call it. This is an audio recorder. It's got multiple microphones inside this speaker head. Very clever. Plugs onto a with a big hair on it from the cover it's been in. So it's got a large, it's got a port underneath which you can screw onto something like a Joby and stick it onto a car for getting exhaust noises, put it on the interior, sucker it to a window or wherever you can mount it. And this will record exceptionally clear audio. They're about £100. They come with a couple of accessories, but basically it is it runs on batteries. So I've got lithium ion in this to keep it up and keep it running for as long as possible. You put an SD card in the underside of it. It takes one of the larger SD cards that normally we're all using to put a micro SD in. So up to 32 gigs. Let me power this one on, and you can actually see it working. So it's going through the files at the moment, and then it comes up with its screen. So you can see at the moment as I'm talking, it is picking up on the sound levels for left and right. This is a great piece of kit. You can do mic gain on the side of it, so you can turn it up and down to pick up the voice that you require. You can also switch it off on this power button here. This puts you into a memory on the top of it, so this takes you, it's your home button, and also takes you into different menus. It is an awesome piece of kit. You can only listen back on its small internal speaker unless you plug it into your laptop or your PC. But the volume's very quiet, so this is really for setting up and leaving, and it will record all your audio, and then you can go back through it and you can cut and paste it, and you can obviously put it into your editor, whatever that might be. Okay, so then we've got some of the mounts that we utilise. Got a ton of mounts. This one I found quite useful. This is a new one. This was so cheap. This was like, I think it was $8.99 or $7.99. Purchased on eBay. Obviously came from, I think it was Shenzhen in China, but took a bit longer to actually get hold of. You can mount a camera on the base of it. So let's say we were going to utilise, I don't know, let's say we're going to use the Thi. So we could put that on the base, like so. Then we can actually mount other attachments. So we could put a light on here. We could put a microphone. So if we were going to use a microphone, this is a Rode video mic. Good company, Rode. I find them a bit difficult to deal with, but I think I'm learning still. So we could put a mic on here. We could put I don't know, a light on here, or we could actually mount a wireless unit, so that if I'm using a lapel mic or somebody else is using a lapel mic, you can film, and then this is wirelessly transmitting, so that we can walk around and we can do things. Can also put my Osmo onto here, because I have a mount which I've purchased. So this is separate from the DJI Osmo Pocket. You have to buy these, and these are, I believe they're $29.99 for this little mount. Doesn't come with this part on the end of it, but these are metal components that I use. Again, these weren't too expensive. This little part here with the 3 prongs was £5.99. This little thumb wheel with a screw head on it, which holds it all together, was I think it was $3.99, and you got 3 in a pack, and they can be used on GoPros or anything. They're just made of billy aluminium. They're much stronger, and they're anodized, and this is stronger as well. Hopefully this mount, which is in plastic, feels quite solid. It's an ABS plastic, and it's pretty well put together. It's strong enough so that we can use these on race cars and things like that. But then it gives me the option of plugging it onto a Joby mount, so I can put it onto my tripod, I can put it onto a sucker on the window, whatever I decide I want to add this to, I can then use it. So it's quite useful. Plus the benefit of this is, this can follow somebody's face, so I can actually watch them doing their thing, and the camera will keep tracking, and it will keep it level if I'm walking. So it has some real benefits to it. Okay. So yeah, this is really good, this handheld grip. They also make a bar that goes across the top, so you can plug it onto the cold shoe mount here, and it has 2 more cold shoes. Plus you can buy more off eBay, which you can add onto it, so you could do a light, or you could do other attachments. Really, it's endless. It's just what you want to do. So that is that. Okay. This is a mount which we're going to be using shortly on the 29th of January, which is going to go onto a roll hoop of a race car. We're going to use a gimbal on that, and we're also going to mount it with another one of these. We're going to mount the Sony camera onto it. And then on the bodywork of the car, we're going to use some of the suckers, but we've got to be slightly careful because we're going to be at Brands Hatch Racetrack. Cars are going to be travelling down the straight pretty quickly, and we will be driving. So we are going to be using a Xenos E10R, which is a 350 horsepower sports car. It's got no roof on it. It's got carbon Kevlar race seats in it. It weighs 700 kilos. So obviously my main issue is where can I mount things? This is very solid plastic. It's got a rubberized section inside it to dampen down vibration. This has got a rubber section on top of it, and we're hoping this is going to work okay, but we're learning the whole time, so this is all new. And that mount was £11. Tons of cables. We've got every type of cable you can imagine. Some haven't even been used, but we've got micro cables for the chargers onto USB. We've got iPhones. We've got every type you can imagine. So we're fully covered. Okay, so then in my bag of goodies, so I have a bag here which is made by I think is it li-oin. And in here, multiple pockets, quite useful for storage. I can put my SD cards into this little section here. You can see I've got all my old bits and pieces. So in here we've got the Saramonic wireless transmitter. So this is actually transmitter. Then we've also got in here, hidden away, we've got the receiver pack here. So this goes onto the top of a camera or goes into a pocket and is plugged in. You put the mic into, you put the input into your camera on one side or into an audio recorder, and you put the other side into, I can't remember, into your microphone. This one you put the mic into on top, screws in, doesn't fall out. Battery pack slide in. They've got lithium-ion rechargeable batteries, which I've upgraded to. It's got quite a good range. It's about 300 meters, I believe. I haven't tried it at 300 meters. I don't think this will work that far, but we've been probably 20 or 30 meters away and we've had no issue. So if you wanted to walk around and be a bit more free, and you had a cameraman or woman, or you had something that was going to track you automatically, these are a great option, and they're not too expensive. These were £149 for both. Okay, we have many mounts, we have many different bits and pieces for attaching things to. Small Joby mounts, these are awesome. You can put them anywhere, they will wrap around things, and you put them onto tree trunks and level them up, and fantastic. They don't come off, they just do exactly what they say. A bit more expensive, but Joby is definitely where it's at. And I'm using a Joby 3K at the moment with a spirit level to see if the camera's level, and you can use an SLR on that particular one. It's so strong. These won't hold an SLR, bit too weak. The legs will just actually open up, and you'll end up with the camera going on the floor. But great piece of kit. Okay, another Joby product here. This was actually purchased on eBay, and this is a clamp, so you can clamp this down. Mount the camera on top. Again, you put on one of these. So this is their standard sort of arm, which can be bent in any direction. So once you've mounted it onto something, you can raise the height up and down because there's a screw thread here. So you can see I can do that. Then I can push it up against whatever I'm mounting it onto, screw this thread down, pop a camera on top, which I will show you. So if we put the SJ cam onto it, so we can then mount it, and then we can bend this to wherever we wish to have it. It's a great piece of kit, so I can really highly recommend these items. You never know when you're going to need something that will have a clamp effect, or a sucker on it, or just a tripod. Joby, awesome. They need to pay me. Okay, so what else do we have in my bag of wonders? Lots of attachments, more Joby mounts. This is one of the suckers. So if I show you another one, so these Joby mounts are the only ones to consider in my mind. I've tried all of these different sucker mounts. I had the DJI version, which was I think £70 a couple of years back, and that had 3 smaller mounts. They all come off. They fall off the bodywork, your camera smashes, or you lose it, or somebody steals it when it falls off a car, and you feel a bit of an idiot. Plus, it's really dangerous. These do not come off. If you're going to stick it onto a window or onto a piece of bodywork that actually will allow it to stick properly, doesn't fall off. So I can show you. If I put it onto my table and then I twist this dial on it, there is no way I could lift this table up. I mean, it really, you can see the camera shaking. It's an awesome piece of kit. Very soft underneath. easy to clean, so if you drop it into dirt you can wipe it down and you can just take a cloth. So I use these micro cloths. Obviously Car Mad, I run a car channel, so I've got boxes of micro cloths and I can just wipe the underside of it and it's ready to go again. And then you just twist this red dial here and it then locks it into place, which actually is so stiff I can't do it without attaching it to something. Highly recommended. These are about, they range, you can pick them up on eBay second hand and people sell them for about 15 to 20 pounds, but I believe I think they're about 40 pounds, but it's the best 40 pounds you'll spend. If you've just bought a camera at 300, maybe 400 or 500 pounds, this is going to save it, and it will work all the time. Works in any condition, it's never ever fallen off, and we have really belted around some of the roads with these on. So very useful. I have 3 of those. Okay, we've also got memory cards. Really important. Got to protect your memory cards. Got to know you've got to have enough memory space. So I bought this little case from a company called B-Way. It was 10 quid. You can see all my different memory cards in here. I've got the holders. I've got, you can see Evo, Samsung cards, all will record in full HD because of the cameras I use, and then I can keep the holders, which are the SD adapter plates, which can go into my laptop or into its dongle. But I've got SanDisk, Samsung, I've got the Extreme Pro cards, different cards for different pieces of equipment. So they sometimes need to be run on faster speeds, and some of these new cards are brilliant with 4K. So I'm using a SanDisk 4K card at the moment in this camera that's recording. When I use the drone, which I'm going to show you in a second, that's 4K, but it's very specific to the card that it will use. Otherwise we found it doesn't work particularly well. And plus also on this DJI, they sell this out with a 32 gig card. It's not particularly big considering you're recording in 4K, so this will go up to 256 gigs, which we use in this, but the cards are expensive because they need to run the same capability as the camera. Otherwise you get skipping and jumping and it's not particularly great. So really strong, waterproof, shockproof, can do anything with it. Awesome. I highly recommend it. Okay. This is a selfie stick I picked up in Singapore. Seriously cheap. Cost me, I think, £4, £4 or £5, so it was about $8, 8 Singapore dollars. You can move the head around on it. All metal, not plastic. Plastic ones don't last very long. This extends out nearly a metre. Can be fun. I haven't used it very much, but it's okay. I have the other mounts anyway. This is the Sony version, so I can clip this onto here. I can put the camera on top of it and then I can walk around with it, but it's quite a nice feature on this one because you can actually open up the base and it becomes a tripod, so you can pop it down on the table and you can use it as a something for doing your own blogs and selfie stick, whatever you want to use it for, but it won't extend. Dead cat to go onto my Rode mic, which I showed you earlier. I'm not going to put it on, but this goes over here, so if it's very windy you can take off, if you wanted to, this foam, and you can put this on, but you can also install this over the top of it. Quite useful, does cut down on wind a lot, but again they're expensive. They're about £20 I believe. Mounts coming out of my ears, got mounts for everything. This is a mount in fact for the Smooth, comes included. It's a really good piece of kit, so that will stand out and it's quite large, so the footprint's really good. So you can screw this onto the base and then you can vlog with it, but good solid mount, keeps it very sturdy, very stable, and it's nice that you can fold it up and you don't have to leave it on it because it's pretty big. So this makes it smaller, easier to actually conduct your vlogging with, and if you're out and about somewhere and you just want to put it down, you could put it onto a seat of a bench, you could put it wherever you want, and or on a wall, and this will actually do the trick, so that's quite useful. Okay, that's the other mount I was talking about, so that's a cold shoe, goes on anywhere, and then it gives you 2 extra sides so you can mount other equipment. This was about £4, bought it on eBay, all metal, pretty cool thing. VI charger, tons of batteries, I mean we have so many batteries, extra mountings, a mount for every single job. It's worth keeping them in your bag because you never know when you're going to need them. Then I've got lots of cloths. You can see I've got cloths and protecting bags for cameras coming out of my ears, but you can never have enough. What else is in this bag of magic? Okay, so let's go into the top section of it. Okay, more cables. I've I've actually got a remote control for the Thi. I've never used it, but it was an optional extra. This was, I believe, £17, and you can stop-start the camera with this, and it just runs on a small battery like you put in a remote control for a car opener or a garage door. So that is there. I have a knife, which is always useful if you need to cut something or screw something up and put it somewhere. A pass. Okay, and then it goes on to my pride and joy. My Mavic Pro 2. Awesome piece of kit. Fly more package on this one, so I got the case, I got extra batteries, I got the all singing and dancing package. So it comes with a tiny little remote control. They've really thought this through. Opens up, it's got its cables built in, so you plug your iPhone in here, you open up the app, you then literally pull out the aerials. These are your control sticks, which very cleverly just screw onto the to the front here, so you've got your control sticks. Extremely easy to fly. I highly recommend it, and much better quality than other cameras. I had an Inspire last time, and the Inspire was a professional rig. It was extremely expensive. I used it for other things than the car channel. I used it for my work, which is property development. It was too big and bulky to carry around, so when I travelled I couldn't take it. I mean, the case with the drone inside it weighed about 18 kilos. It was basically an armour-plated box that it was in, and it was just overkill, too much. So I sold it on eBay. Got a lot of money for it. The guy loves it, films churches with it and architecture, which it's perfect for, with a huge sensor in the lens and a massive telephoto lens on it. But this is what I needed. So this is one of the batteries. You can see this battery is not quite full, so it's 3/4 charge. Small, lightweight, gives a flight time of 32 minutes, which is more than the large Inspire did. The actual drone itself is awesome, packed into this bag. So you can see here, if I fold out the arms on it, it's a beast of a drone. Amazing bit of kit. These legs fold down. You can leave the props on it, or you can take the props off. This is a camera guard, so this has got the Hasselblad camera in it. Footage is full 4K. It's awesome. It's a beautiful flying machine. It's got sensors underneath it, so it knows when it's approaching terrain. It's got sensors at the front of it. It knows when it's going to fly into something, and it stops and it backs off. It also knows when you're flying at something, it would go up if you have the settings, and it will fly over it. Cameras to the sides, cameras to the back, sensors on top. More cameras at the other side here, and these are allow the air out for the fans, and at the side here. It is an exceptional piece of equipment. I believe it will go 7 kilometres away from you. In the UK we can't do that, we can only fly at 400 feet because of all the latest disasters we've had at the airport with drones going up and down, which now looks like wasn't actually a drone at all, but who knows. This is quite an expensive piece of kit. These are, in basic format, about £1,300. This one I purchased in Singapore. My exchange rate wasn't particularly great, but it was slightly cheaper for me to buy it in Singapore, and it was easier, and I then used it in Manila on the show that I was doing. But great piece of kit. Thank you guys for watching. It's been a pleasure as always. If you like the video, please do subscribe. Please click like as well. And if you want me to make more things about the cameras and the equipment that I utilise and show behind the scenes, please do let me know and send me a message. If not, let me know which cars I should be filming. Am I filming the right vehicles? So the 29th we have a track day, and we're going to be out in the Xenos, the E10R. We've also got a Ferrari Aperta that we're going to be looking at. I think there's going to be a Pista, which we're going to be looking at later, another Ferrari 488. We have a C63 AMG, which we're going to be looking at, and then there's multiple other cars, and we will be coming back to my RS3 as well to do some more reviews and more of a long-term update, because that is now turning 12,000 miles, so it'll be having its first service, and I'll show you all the problems I've had, or not so many problems. It's been a great car in fact, but I can show you what's happened to it over the first year of ownership and mileage, and its oil thirst. Please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers guys, take care.